Hello there, I'm Rick, and today I want to talk to you about digital properties and how is affecting our world today way more than you might think and realize. And the thing is, I also gonna talk a lot about change and the resistance that you probably feel when you're doing worthy change. I grew up loving digital. Um, Basically, when I was a kid, I was hiding in computer games, and that passion taught me how to hack things, boost myself, save the game when back in the days might not have a save game, and how to build the hardware because I couldn't afford it, and so many things were added on the digital knowledge that today helped me a lot. But the other side that we don't see today on computer game or digital games we were highly misunderstood. We really were the nerds in the corner, the nerds in the basement, totally loving that. Some of us digging deep into mods, multi-user dungeons, 2D text adventures. I loved playing EverQuest and stuff like that. And the thing is, the world around us kind of didn't understand. Now, everyone knows computer games, but back then it was really odd to having that as a hobby. And I remember being so ashamed when all the manager peers around the table were talking about what they've done for the weekend, and I've been reading, helping, been one of 72 people doing this, and I was not the man stepping up to share that, so I just mumbled something that I don't even remember, totally not connecting with them, but that's a different task. What I mean is, gaming back then wasn't really understood, and quite a lot of ads, or not ads, articles. We did have clickbait back then, even if it was on physical paper. It were really using a lot of fear around this misunderstood hobby called computer games. And I also played a lot of board games or role-play games and stuff like that. And twice, 3 times a year, there was some article talking about the dangerousness of these kind of games, and what happens with the brain when you play these games and stuff like that. And what I'm trying to say is it was highly misunderstood. Yet I did it because I loved it. And I'm quite sure that whatever you're doing right now, if it's worthwhile, you have people who don't understand it. But it is there where the big growth happens. Now, people love Marvels and that kind of superhero thing. People love computer games, or at least it's very polarized, but it's socially acceptable, and it's understood what you do when you play a computer game. It's not that you have to explain what it means to play a computer game to someone. And that's where I want you to dare to stay, to dare to be vulnerable, dare to feel weird, whatever it is, because the changes are so big that no one else can get them but you when you get there. And talking about digital properties, for example, just as an example how big the changes is. Normally, up to now, we grow up with thinking properties. You borrow a tool as a kid. You borrow the tool or the play thing. Only one can own it. Only one can use it at the time, and you lend it from one to another. Kind of assets are important, and that goes up to who's the employer, who's the employee, who owns the building, we're kind of private property has it shapes our society so much. But now we have in organizations, companies everywhere, we have a lot of people who've grown up with digital properties. They behave differently. And once again, I grew up with Napster and a lot of other services that weren't really that good. So I'm all for copywriting. I'm not saying that, but I grew up in a society. Let's talk about an online game, for example, where there's an abundance of what you can do. If more friends get into the game playing, it's not like, no, you can't use that, we only have one of that. It's assumed you can work to get that too. You can level up so you can use that too. Few games today are built on the premise that no, there's only one of these tools and you can't use it, because it's more fun to do things together. It's more fun to level up together. The network effect benefits everyone. So this era from millennia of using one thing and then share it, splicing up the pie because it's finite resources. In digital, it's just gone. The more who's using the things, usually the better it is for everyone. The greener the IT becomes for everyone. So, very different, because these are now out in the workforce. Will bring your own device. Well, I don't want to choose an operating system. Why should I? I don't want to choose the tool. Why should I? I can have it all, like this. So they come bringing solutions that are highly unexpected. That's the kind of change I'm talking to. Wherever you are right now trying to drive the change, probably you see big changes like that coming before everyone else. It's a huge game changer. Then sure, come on in. We'll spawn your favorite tool for you, so you can play too, because we want you to play. It's not you can have this present from me to you and then I don't have it. But yeah, you like what I have? Sure, here you have a copy. And of course, also what kids learn is what happens with economy, player auctions and stuff like that, and what happens when you generate money into player auction, and that kind of disruption go through the player market. Kids today learn a lot on a totally new level, because once again we're all global now. We're mostly service-based, all of us now. And internet does affect a lot of more things than you are. Of course, with that mindset, they can design better in a way that the finite mindset can't. That I have to splice up the pie. When you can generate enough for everyone, and with so many of the research today they have really solved so many things. So I'm very optimistic for the future. But today let's focus on the change you're trying to make, and look long term for the impact that change is going to happen. It's worth it. Take care of my friend. Have a good one. Bye bye.